Hey everybody, welcome back to Movies and That. I'm your host Cody, and today we're going to continue with my Buy One, Stream One, Burn One series. If you're not familiar with what this series is, I take three movies and I choose which one I'm going to buy, which one I'm going to stream, and which one I'm going to burn. Last week I kicked this off with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and this week in spirit of Friday the 13th, coming up this Friday, I am going to go ahead and do it with the Friday the 13th franchise. So without further ado, let's go ahead and kick this off. So buy one, stream one, burn one. We're going to do it with Friday the 13th, the original, Friday the 13th Part 2, and Friday the 13th Part 3. I'm going to go ahead and burn the original Friday the 13th. Never been a huge fan of this movie. I was whenever I first saw it, and then it's kind of just been a movie to watch during the summertime, maybe once a year. But yeah, it never has really fully captured me like some other horror classics have. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and burn that one, which means I'll go ahead and stream Friday the 13th Part 3. This is where Jason gets his mask, so that's always a huge plus. We got some good kills, okay characters. I'm not really the biggest fan of this character set in this movie. I do like Chris, of course. That's really about it. Could care less about like that motorcycle gang and really anybody else. Don't like the setting. Higgins Havens has really never been a top Friday the 13th setting for me. So fun watch. I'll go ahead and stream it. But out of these three, I'm going to go ahead and buy Friday the 13th Part 2. Always one of my favorites in this franchise. Love Ginny. Like majority of the characters, I love the setting. It's still pretty much like Camp Crystal Lake. It's on the same lake. And we get Sackhead Jason, which is a good version of Jason, in my opinion. Good kills, and it's a fun watch. So I'm definitely going to buy that one. So I'm moving on to the next three. That's going to be Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning, and Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. So buy one, stream one, burn one. We're going to go ahead and burn Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Now, this has climbed on my ranks a little bit. I used to hate this movie. It used to be like I think it was my last, like a long time ago, but I've gone to respect it. I think the characters are fine. I like the version of Tommy. He's not my favorite, but I do like what they did with him here. The whole copycat killer, the first time I watched it, pissed me off. Then I kind of appreciated it a bit. Fun watch, but out of these three, it's definitely going in the burn pile. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stream Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. In my opinion, this is the scariest version of Jason. This, I think, is my second favorite of the franchise. I like all the characters. Of course, we got Corey Feldman. We introduced Tommy Jarvis. We have Trish. She is a great final girl. And Crispin Glover and his whole set of friends, they're a good time, and the kills are pretty good. I like the setting, and I have a good time watching this. So I'm gonna buy Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, and this one's my favorite Friday the 13th movie. It gives me everything I want in a Friday movie. It gives me, in my opinion, the best Jason. I like this the best version of Tommy, in my opinion. I like the other characters that we get introduced to, like Megan and all her friends. And then you got her dad, Sheriff Garris. I think does a great job, and it's a great story. It's a fun time. We got great kills. We got a killer soundtrack with Alice Cooper. So yeah, I love this movie. So definitely going to buy this one. So the next three is going to be Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. And pretty easy here, we're burning Jason Goes to Hell. It's a weird movie, very weird. I am not a huge fan of that at all. In my opinion, I think if they would have done what they did in the beginning of that movie with the FBI sting and them setting Jason up and blowing him to pieces, that would have been awesome for the end of the movie, and then they just did the movie building up to that point. I think it would have been a lot better movie, but instead we got a possession movie with this worm demon thing that's Jason, I guess, that possesses a bunch of different people, and they do killing like they're Jason. And that's what we get. So, yeah, it's getting burned. It's going to hell. Um, what I'm going to stream, it's going to be Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Not a huge fan of this movie either. It's really Jason Takes a Cruise. But we get a cool Jason in this. I like the look. Kane Hodder has a good time. We do eventually get to Manhattan for like the last 15 minutes. And there's some fun scenes to be had. You know, Julius boxing Jason and, getting his head taken off. So it's a fun movie a bit at the end. Everything else before that, not so much. Hate those flashback sequences, hate the visions and things like that. So, nah, I'll stream it. So I'm going to buy Friday the 13th Part 7, New Blood. This is my third favorite movie, I believe. I'm not going to be doing a ranking on all these movies, too. So that's coming out on Friday. But, the New Blood I always have a good time with. It's one of my favorite looks of Jason. He's full-on zombie in this one. Kane Hodder, this is his first performance as Jason, does a great job. Wish the MPAA didn't cut down all the kills and all the gore, because I think this would have been 10 times better than what we got, but it's still a fun movie. You know, you got a Jason versus Carrie situation with the final girl Tina doing her thing here. Going up against Jason with her telepathic abilities, and I think it's different, it's original. Sure, it's a little goofy, but I think they did a good job with it. I don't mind the characters overall. Again, we get great kills, and the setting works for me. So, yeah, I dig Friday the 13th Part 7. Now, the last three movies here, we have Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and Friday the 13th, 2009, or the remake. So buy one, stream one, burn one. We're going to go ahead and burn Jason X. Now, I do have a good time with Jason X. I really don't want to burn this one, but that's the game. Out of these three, that one's going to get burned. But it's a fun time. I mean, Jason goes to space. They do some wild things with that. How he gets there, the whole beginning of that movie is just bizarre. And how he managed to sit on a post-apocalyptic Earth and for hundreds of years and not get found, or nothing happened to him. Or nothing happened to him to even get him out of that situation. I don't know. Who knows? But when he's in space, when he's on the spaceship, it's a pretty good time. I do like it, and I have a good time. So I'm going to go ahead and stream Freddy vs. Jason. Now, the Friday the 13th and Jason aspect of this movie, I think they do a decent job with. Not my favorite Jason, but he looks cool. I mean, he does a good job. He's kind of slow, but he's like a brute. He's definitely brutal. Uses a machete the majority of the movie, too. The only thing that pisses me off is when they make him scared of water when he really isn't. There's multiple points through that movie where he isn't scared of water. So why is that? Why in his subconscious is he scared of that? I don't know. But again, brutal kills, a fine Jason, and it's a fun movie. So I definitely would stream that. So that leaves me buying Friday the 13th, 2009. And if you probably would have asked me maybe even as recent as 2 or 3 years ago, I might have streamed or even burned this one because I couldn't stand any of the characters. And it's not just Trent, all of them. I did not care if any of them died. I really didn't care. But what saves this movie for me now is my appreciation for the Jason we get. So it starts off with Sackhead Jason, which I think is pretty cool. Then he gets his hockey mask, and it's the Jason that we know and love. And I mean, everything about him is good. I mean, good performance as Jason. I like how he's the human Jason. He's setting up these traps at Camp Crystal Lake. Camp Crystal Lake is pretty good in this movie too. And he's, trapping people, killing people, having them stay out of the camp. And it's a pretty fun time whenever Jason's there and when Jason's not there. It is kind of annoying, but I've grown to like this movie because we haven't gotten a Friday the 13th movie in forever, even before that. I guess since Freddy vs. Jason, so it was like, 6 or 7 years before we got that. And then we haven't gotten anything since, so I hope A24 releases Crystal Lake series soon, and hopefully we get another movie. But I think they did a good job, and I have appreciated this movie more and more each time I watched it. So with that being said, guys, that is it for this Buy One, Stream One, Burn One series. So to recap, The movies that I bought are Friday the 13th Part 2, Friday the 13th Part 6, Friday the 13th Part 7, and Friday the 13th 2009. The ones that I'm streaming are going to be Friday the 13th Part 3, Friday the 13th Part 4, Friday the 13th Part 8, and Freddy vs. Jason. And then the ones that are in the burn pile, we have the original Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 5, Jason Goes to Hell, and Jason X. So that's it, guys. Comment down below. Give me your buy one, stream one, burn ones. If you like this, like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more content, and hopefully I'm getting better. So I appreciate all the views, all the support. So stick with me, guys. Thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.